What's up, guys? KL Ryder here. I've always been fascinated by the raw power and freedom of motorcycles. But today, we're not just talking about bikes. We're diving into something way crazier, the world of biker gangs. It's a subculture that's been romanticized, vilified, and misunderstood. So, let's cut through the noise and get to the real story behind these leather-clad riders. All right, let's start with a bit of history. You know how after World War II, a lot of veterans came back home and struggled to fit in? Well, some of these guys found their place on two wheels. It was like trading one brotherhood for another. In 1947, there was this incident in Hollister, California. A bunch of bikers showed up. Things got a little out of hand. And boom, the media went crazy. They painted these guys as outlaws, rebels without a cause. And you know what? A lot of bikers were like, yeah, that's us. It was like when people called the first phablets too big, and then they became the new normal. Now, let's talk about the big players in the game. First up, we've got the Hells Angels. These guys have been around since 1948, and they're like the Apple of the biker world. Everyone knows them. Then we've got the Bandidos, founded in '66. They're like the Android to the Hells Angels iOS. Big rivals. The Outlaws and Pagans are in the mix too. The Outlaws are old school, started in '35, while the Pagans are more East Coast and keep things on the down low. It's like comparing different phone manufacturers, each with their own UI skin, on top of the same basic operating system of biker culture. These clubs call themselves one percenters. It's like saying they're the elite, the ones who stand out from the 99% of law-abiding bikers. But standing out isn't always a good thing, especially when it comes to the law. These clubs often get involved in some pretty serious stuff. Well, we're talking organized crime, not just speeding tickets. But it's not all about breaking laws. For many members, it's about brotherhood. It's like being part of a really intense tech community, but with more leather and less RGB lighting. They have their own codes, their own hierarchies. It's a whole ecosystem, just like the tech world, but with very different rules and a lot more horsepower. So what's the deal with biker gangs today? Well, they're still around, and they're evolving. You've got clubs like the Mongols, who are primarily Latino, shaking up the traditionally white biker scene. It's like when a new player enters the smartphone market and disrupts everything. Then there's the Sons of Silence, holding it down in the Midwest. These clubs are adapting to the times, but keeping that old school biker spirit. But it's not all smooth riding. In 2015, there was this crazy shootout in Waco, Texas, between the Bandidos and another club called the Cossacks. It was like a brutal tech war, but with actual casualties. It showed that the biker world is still volatile, still dangerous, and it's not isolated. These clubs have connections to other criminal organizations, from street gangs to cartels. It's a complex network, kind of like the dark web of the physical world. So, there you have it. A beginner's guide to the world of biker gangs. It's a subculture that's as complex as it is controversial. From post-war rebels to modern-day outlaws, these groups have left an indelible mark on American culture. Whether you see them as criminals or brothers, one thing's for sure. They're not riding off into the sunset anytime soon.